Alex here with an events video on the Child Support Guidelines Committee. They're holding a public hearing on August 20th at 1 p.m. at the Grant Sawyer Building located at 555 East Washington Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada. What's significant about this committee is that historically the child support statutes were created solely by the legislature, and the legislature has created and empowered this committee to meet periodically every 4 years and fashion and update the child support statutes. This is their first iteration, which means they are creating the regulations from scratch. They've already held 21 hearings over the past 2 years where they considered public input on fashioning the new regulations. What's happening on August 20th at 1 p.m. is basically the last opportunity for the public to appear and comment on their proposed regulations. You can find copies of all minutes and hearing videos online. You can also find copies of their proposed regulations. The committee is chaired by Kimberly Surt, an attorney in Nevada, and vice chaired by Don Throne, another attorney in Nevada. Also on the committee are District Judges Charles Hoskin of the 8th Judicial District Court, Department E, District Judge Bridget Robb of the 2nd Judicial District Court, Department 13, District Judge Jim Shirley of the 6th Judicial District Court, Department 1, and Justice Lidia Stiglich of the Supreme Court. We do intend to send a representative, and before we sign off, we have some input here from attorney Lynn Conant. So let's start off with having you introduce yourself to the viewers.
I'm a lawyer licensed in Nevada. I've been practicing almost 20 years here in Clark County, and I practice exclusively in family law. I'm also what's considered a pro tem hearing commissioner or in child support. In other words, I work part-time for the county as a child support judge.
So it sounds like you have a lot of experience both with litigating child support issues and making determinations on child support issues. Why don't you go over some of the major highlights with what the Child Support Committee has prepared in its proposed regulations?
There's a couple of very significant changes that are occurring. First, for people who make low incomes. Low income earners will have their child support paired off against the poverty level in the United States. And there's an index that judges and hearing commissioners will follow to help low-income earners because Nevada's child support at $100 a month for very low-income earners has for some people has been onerous. And so that is going away. There's now an index to the poverty level. The next significant thing that's happening here in Nevada is Nevada has always had a cap, or what's called a maximum amount of income that a high income earner would pay. In other words, if I made $100,000 a year and have one child, I might be paying the presumptive maximum amount of child support. In other words, for one child, a very high income earner had a ceiling on the amount of child support they would pay. Contrast that to California, where you hear of very significant awards being paid. Someone like Britney Spears, who the last I recall was paying Kevin Federline approximately $12,000 a month in child support. In Nevada, the presumptive maximum amount of child support was this year was $1,165. So if I earned $100,000 a year, or let's say $200,000 a year, the most I would pay to support my children would be $1,165. Compare that with a low-income earner who would be paying 18% of their income. There's a disparity on between very affluent people and low-income people on the amount, the percentage of child support they're paying. So that is a very big change for us here in Nevada.
Do you think it's going to be easier for the public to relate to and even interact with the Child Support Guidelines Committee as opposed to their, I guess you could say, access or ability to interact with the legislature?
This committee was appointed by the legislature. And as I recall, under the federal guidelines, a state is supposed to review their child support guidelines every 4 years. And Nevada has been a bit behind the curve on doing that. So this commission was bringing Nevada up to speed and, in fact, modernizing their child support guidelines. The committee had ongoing meetings. They sought support from the general public. I recognize the names of several people I know that made comments or sent emails to the committee. So it's been a very open process. And in fact, I believe it's next month, there will be another public comment session. And I think anyone who pays child support needs to hear these comments, needs to provide their input, and to help everyone come up with a plan that will work for all Nevadans.
I would have to agree, and thank you so much for coming on, Lynn, and giving us your perspective, especially given your background.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for asking.
If anyone has any questions, look down in the description below. There are going to be links to the documents that have been provided and also links to the internet resources that are available online with regards to this public hearing. There are also instructions in the notice of hearing for people who would like to dial in and pose their questions and comments to the committee over the telephone rather than appearing in person. You can also contact us at admin@ournevadajudges.com.